All right. Hello, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Hunter Williams here. Wanted to hop on here ahead of our 10 o'clock newscast and walk you through the forecast for the next several days. And I'm sure it's a surprise to none of you when I say we have more excessive heat in the forecast. However, it is not just that. Today's high in Austin was 108. That tied for the hottest temperature that we have seen so far this summer. Tomorrow, I think, will be even hotter. Accordingly, I do think it will be our hottest day so far this summer. It will be a daily record, likely our 27th day of triple-digit heat. And I think that tomorrow will rank even higher in that upper echelon of July numbers on record. So I think 109 tomorrow would tie for the third hottest July temperature since records began here in Austin. So let's dive into things. I've got Facebook and everything pulled up here. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please let us know. A beautiful live view outside over a still quite toasty downtown Austin. It is at 96 currently for Camp Mabry, 93 right now at the airport. At least the humidity has come down pretty dramatically for this week. That means that our overnight temperatures will actually be a little bit cooler compared to some of the numbers we saw last week when we were struggling to get out of the 80s. The flip side of that, though, is the fire danger this week is much higher. We'll get to that here in a moment. These are the numbers from today. There is your 108 today for Austin, 103 at the airport today. Giddings hit 102. It was 105 today in Georgetown. Llano hit 108. Horseshoe Bay 106. Fredericksburg 103. Updated numbers. The average temperature this month has been 90.3 degrees, which is pretty remarkable, and we are very quickly gaining ground on last year, which through the 17th of the month had an average temperature of 90.5. So the difference now is only 0.2. I think here in the next 2 to 3 days, we will likely surpass last year. So we very likely could be living through the hottest July on record for Austin. All right, let's talk. This is actually something new. I believe our KML file has not refreshed here. I'll get that updated for you at 10 o'clock. It was the Climate Shift Index. What that shows is the impact that a changing climate has had on our weather as far as making it more likely, less likely, or maybe it's just as likely to happen. Today's Climate Shift Index was a 5, meaning that the weather that we experienced today, the heat that we experienced today, was 5 times more likely because of climate change. Look at Phoenix, man. I follow a couple of meteorologists from the Phoenix area on Twitter. Yesterday, the high in Phoenix was 118. When you start breaking July heat records in Phoenix, you know you're talking serious heat. It is 113 degrees there this evening, and that's essentially where the center of the heat dome is right now. It's over the 4 corners. This is kind of splitting hairs, but this is why I think that tomorrow's forecast is actually going to be a little bit hotter. The heat dome gets a little bit closer to us, and because of that proximity, I think we take our 108 today and it likely becomes a 109. 110, while I don't have that in the forecast, is a very real possibility tomorrow. And 110 is the hottest July temperature on record for Austin. That's happened twice. It happened last year. You'll probably remember, I believe it was June 12th last year. And then it happened, I believe in 2018 was the other time that it happened. So through the middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, perhaps into Thursday, it's looking just about as hot as what we have right now. This weekend, though, the heat dome weakens for a change. That's nice. And it moves away from us to the west. What that's going to do is not bring anything dramatic. It's still going to be very hot, but it's going to bring less hot temperatures, some 104s, some 105s, very hot weather, but not record heat, not all-time July numbers, that type of thing this weekend. And we get into this northwest flow aloft where the door is actually open for at least some small rain chances, especially on Sunday. Before we get to the silver lining of our forecast, let's talk about tomorrow. Here are the numbers: 107 for Mason tomorrow, 104 for Fredericksburg tomorrow, Llano 109, Kingsland 109 tomorrow, Burnett 107. Have 109 in the forecast for Austin tomorrow, as well as Del Valle, Round Rock 106, Georgetown 106, Laga Vista 105, 105 for Smithville tomorrow, Flatonia 104, Schulenburg 104 as well. I want to show you the updated heat alerts. It was an upgrade today. So in the pink now, we are back to excessive heat warning criteria. In the orange for Gillespie, Blanco, and Fayette counties, it is the lower heat advisory. What's interesting, though, is that last week we had these really high feels-like temperatures that were 111, 112, as high as 114. That's what was mainly driving the alerts last week. This week, it's much more of a dry heat. It's the air temperature that is prompting these, so the air temp tomorrow could be as high as 109. So what do we mean about these less hot temperatures? Here we go. Next 5 days, I still have us at 107 on Wednesday. And I'm worried I might have to bump that up also. 107, 108 Wednesday, Thursday 106, Friday, Saturday 105, and I think by Sunday we'll be able to drop down to about 104 for the afternoon high, which again is still significant heat. We're not trying to downplay that, but 104 is a number that, you know, we'll see pretty much each summer here in Austin, Texas. These 108s, 109s, that stuff is pretty rare. On top of that, the list of our counties that are under burn bans continues to increase. Here's why. Because the humidity is lower and we're still breezy and hot, we know about our drought. We have high to very high fire danger through Tuesday, Wednesday, and this is going to continue beyond that, likely through this weekend just because the humidity is much lower. Here's an update on the burn ban situation. Bastrop County was added today, and then our news folks were saying, I believe, that both Austin and Travis and Williamson County will be assessing later on this week. It's possible we may get those two added as far as additional burn bans here in the next couple of days as well. Want to update you as well on our allergy situation. Let me, on top of that, speaking of things floating around in the air, had a pretty nice sunset this evening. We do still have some Saharan dust, which is out there. Here's the allergy count. Not much going on. Weeds and grass both in very low concentrations, but mold is in the medium count today. And here's the 7-day forecast. 109 tomorrow, our hottest day so far of the summer. 107 on Wednesday, Thursday 106, Friday 105, Saturday 105, and there we go on Sunday. It's not much, but it's a 20% chance for rain, and that's more than we've had in a while. Monday, a 10% chance for rain and the high temperature around 104 next week. So I think it's a very real possibility that we have triple digits through the entirety of the rest of this month. I'm hoping, though, that we can get these at least a little bit more manageable. Again, 103, 104, it's plenty hot. But, you know, those are the type of numbers that we see here in the months of July and August in Central Texas. The 108s, the 109s, that stuff is very rare. That's what I would like to get us kind of out of that threshold. April is saying, come on, summer storm. Yeah, man, how nice is a nice soaking downpour sound right now. Alma says, Hunter, when are these high temperatures going away? This is ridiculous for Central Texas. I'm with you. This is very similar to what we were just talking about. In the month of July and August, it's going to be hot here. 100, 101, 102, 103, you expect those type of numbers here with a pretty good regularity. The 108s, the 109s, that is what is getting us into this upper echelon of more historic heat that we've been experiencing. I do think that the numbers next week might be a little bit more manageable, but I do see triple digits continuing, not just for the next 7 days, but perhaps through the end of July. And we know that August historically, obviously, is even hotter. Hopefully it doesn't work out that way. Last year, our hottest temperature was actually in July. So hopefully things don't get even hotter for August, but I do still see more heat in our forecast. The other thing to watch will, of course, be the tropics. There's nothing out there right now. The Saharan dust is actually kind of keeping things very quiet right now. But as we get into August and September and the tropics start to get a little bit more active, we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. And then I'm hoping, based on the fact that we're in this El Nino pattern, that once we get into the fall, we can kind of flip that switch and start getting some rain. We need it, of course, in an El Nino cycle. We need to watch that flood potential as well. So let me go through the highs tomorrow one more time, and then I will leave you with that. We are coming up here on 9:31, our full 10 o'clock newscast coming up in about 30 minutes. Here's the forecast for tomorrow, our hottest day so far of the summer, even hotter than today. And these are going to be in the upper echelon of all-time July temperatures. 109 in the forecast for Austin. I have 105 in the forecast for Bastrop, Georgetown at 106, Llano 109 tomorrow. Yeah, at least the breeze, hey, it's certainly not a cold wind or anything, but it kind of shakes the air up a little bit. You get under some shade with the breeze. It's not terrible, but, you know, I think 109 can only feel so good. All right, that's going to be it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We will end the stream, and again here in about 28 minutes we'll see you for our full newscast coming up on KVUE tonight at 10. Y'all have a good night, stay safe, and stay cool.